Hey, so really quick, just I don't have much to update you guys on. I had in the first long went well. We were up over 4%, so I took a profit on that of just over 2% before I came back down. And then I got into the next long because again, my this whole support structure I had has been so key, right? So we bounced on this trend line again and again and again, and it kept holding. So I got in after the last bounce off the trend line and the horizontal support at 90.56. Everything was going well. We're moving sideways, and then we dumped. So I got stopped out, but it was like a 1% risk trade. Again, for those who are newer to the group, when I lose like nothing. I'm losing like a few bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks, 200, sometimes more, but usually it's like nothing, right? When I lose, and when I win, I make a lot of money because I'm making 5, 10, 15, 20, 25% on these big trades. So a 1% loss was fine. I essentially gave back half of my profit from the first long, right? Because this long went so well, I made 2% on that. I lost 1% on this. It's almost like I gave back half of my profit from the first trade, right? That's why I always say with my trading strategy and my techniques, I really only have to be right like 20 or 30% of the time. Because if I lose 1 or 2% the rest of the time, it doesn't matter because I'm making 5, 10, 15, 20, 25% those 3 out of 10 trades when I'm hitting those breakouts. And my breakout calls, if you guys have seen, are great. Like this. There's excellent surgical entry and a 4% breakout. Amazing play on BTC because I'm really good at identifying support and resistance. Let me just show you really quick what I'm thinking now and why I said on Twitter within the next like 2 days pretty much we might have a nice big bounce opportunity. We can dump. It's still possible we're going to dump. I'm not a perma bull. I don't care. I have no bias. If we start tanking right now, I'll jump into a short. I was going to short on this dump, but I didn't do it, and this is why, because I knew it would come back up, and I thought I'm not so sure it's going to dump yet until it really gets down below that final support. The fact that we came right back up on that wick made me nervous about getting into a short. I might short. We'll see. But when I see the Stoke model that I use and each of my dynamics working together, and they're both giving me a bullish indication, that's usually a really strong sign. So let me show you what I was looking at on the daily. So on the daily, we're really low. We're pretty much oversold on the daily Stoke. Now, the daily hasn't been that accurate of an indicator. When you get, zigzaggy, when I refer to the stochastic oscillator being zigzaggy, that's when it's really hard to model it. But when you get to that overbought range up here, oversold range down here, right? Oversold down here, you're going to get a nice bounce, right? And then you go all the way to the top when you're up here in the black. When you're overbought, you're either going to get a big dump, or in this case, this was like a super strong run where it kept going all the way up. That's really rare. But again, over here, the top here on the Stoke coincided with this big dump, right? So when you are in the black, whether you're oversold or overbought, generally speaking, it's a pretty damn strong sign that you're going to get a pretty big move. And we don't get it that often. A lot of the time we get these early reversals on the Stoke when we come down. Look at the last time we were down in the black. So this time, right, we were down in the black and we were oversold. Boom, big run up. That run from bottom to top, including that big wick, because it's a daily wick, is a 20% run on BTC. That's massive from the bottom to the top of that run, right? From here to the top of that wick is 20%. Actually, the Stoke does match up, because if you look at it, that wick, because that's a daily, right, was right over here, right at the top, right when it crossed. So that correction back down was part of the Stoke reset. So that was down here. We got into the black. We were oversold just like we are right now. And then the last time before that would be right over there. So let's just take a look and see what was happening back then. So right around here, we didn't fully get into oversold territory, but still, you can see that run up on the Stoke coincided with a big run up in price on Bitcoin. Same thing down here. That was the big dump in May when we were really, really down here in the black. And then we obviously went on a super run since then. So the daily having the stochastic that low at that oversold range in the black down here is a really, really bullish sign. And the reason I said maybe another 41 hours, I thought maybe another 2 daily candles. So at the time when I had tweeted that, there were like 21 hours left. It was like 10 hours ago. There's 11 hours and change left on this daily candle. Once that closes, if the next daily candle that turns green is one of the next 2, so essentially in the next 48 hours from now, we have 2 more candles. And if one of those candles is a green candle, the stochastic oscillator is going to reverse and start turning up. And that's a really, really bullish sign that we can get like a 3, 4, 5 day long run at the bare minimum. It could be a full week of bullish action. But what I'm thinking is we might get a quick dump down to where like the 222 is in the top of the cloud, down to like 8,500. That's very possible. People who are calling for like 7K range, low eights for sustained, I don't see it right now. Just, it's possible. Again, it is possible. I don't have a bullish bias here. I'm not saying that I'm prepared to get in right now because we're going to go on some super run or anything. I'm just saying that I'm watching it. I'm out for right now, at least. But I'm paying attention. I mean, look at the 99 EMA, right? That's one of our Ichima dynamic supports. So with my Ichima model, we have the 55, which was holding as a really strong support. That failed. The 99 gave us a really, really strong support on that big wick down, right? It bounced exactly at the 99 on the daily chart. And the top of the cloud is going to provide some really strong support, which is still trending up. So the fact that we have this uptrend at the top of the cloud is essentially the same as if we have a trend line like this. So the way that I use the cloud, I've talked about this before, where sometimes you'll be over here with the price, but the cloud, since it's a trailing indicator, a leading indicator, might be this far ahead, and the top of the cloud could be all the way up here with this really strong trend line up. That essentially equates, since the top of the cloud acts as a strong support, this cloud is just as if we have a really strong trend line going up like that. So it is very possible within the next 1 or 2 daily candles, we can get a bounce off of that trend line at the top of the cloud, or maybe the 99 EMA, and start a push up. So just watch for that to happen. See if we get a quick dump down and then we start pushing back up. And once we start seeing that reversal on the daily stochastic oscillator, once I start to see this blue cross back over and start to turn back up, that's when I'm going to want to get in. And I don't have to get in all the way at the beginning. I might be able to get in with a really accurate entry at the beginning by dealing with the hourly and the 4-hour models. Because if something like that were to happen and it were to coincide with, say, there's a big dump and the 4-hour dumps all the way down, right? And then I'm able to get in right as we're oversold on the 4-hour stoke, and that starts to turn up, I might be able to get a really good entry into that big daily move. But since that's a potential 10-15% Bitcoin move, which is huge, right, based on the daily, I would rather just give it some time. So if there's like a green candle that pushes back up to maybe like 9,100 or so, I might even wait till as late as 9,100 to get in, because if we do get that bounce again, it's probably taken us back up to pretty high in the 9s. This trend line used to be a strong trend line, but that's gotten broken so many times that doesn't matter anymore. At this point, I may even consider looking at drawing a trend line like this, something like that, but I would look at the lower time frames. On the daily, there's not enough data there. We don't have enough candles to make sense of it. Let me see. The one that I just drew, it's not terrible. I mean, we really only have a wick here and a wick there. If anything, I would ignore the wicks and focus on where more of that trading volume is, because that quick wick kind of is insignificant, but you can see the rest of those candles got rejected right there. So we could have some strong resistance if we make a push up in the next day or two in the low 9,300, 9,400 range. But I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that just yet. It's too far out, and I'm not exactly sure how it's going to play out yet. But that's what I'm looking at. I'm bullish because of the daily. Within the next couple candles, I think we're going to get that reversal. Again, when we get down really low like this, is it possible we get a huge, massive, week-long dump? It's possible. It just never happens, other than, the big dump in March. Every other time we get down that low in the stochastic, we're getting a big bounce. It doesn't get lower than that. So unless we have a black swan event, which is possible, maybe there's some news that comes out that there's a new strain of coronavirus and we're all going to die. It's probably what, given 2020's track record, that's probably what's going to happen, right? Or who knows? There's going to be a new race war between elves and fucking goblins. Who the hell knows what's happening next this godforsaken year? But that's what I'm watching. A lot of potential there for a big bounce. So I'm not trying to catch the exact bottom. I'm just watching it, and I want to see how this plays out. I'm going to give it another day on a larger scale. Now, tomorrow, if we're stable and we're moving sideways and we're not seeing too much big dumping or anything, because it's a Sunday, so who knows what's going to happen, then I may get into some alts. Because a lot of the alts bled off today, except for Theta. A bunch of the altcoins have been dumping a bit today and correcting, so we might have an opportunity to get into some nice altcoin plays tomorrow. I'll share some if I find anything that's worthwhile. I'm going to take a look as soon as I wake up. My schedule is getting a bit back to normal now. It was hectic for a while, so when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to go through my list on my watch list, see if any of the altcoins look particularly attractive, and I'll let you guys know. And if we do see some movement on Bitcoin, if we see that stochastic oscillator start to turn, or if we see a development of a bullish trend, an increase in volume potentially, I'll let you guys know and we can make a new plan. But that's what I'm watching for now. So you guys keep an eye on the same thing. And if you see something I missed, let me know and I'll take a look at it. All right, that's my update for now. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.